Eric is going to tell us about the set and assign function and why he's come to love and cherish it.
Yes, very much so. So, we'll just say demo file. So, we all know about FileMaker's ability to pass in parameters to a function or to a script, and that's all fine and dandy. But what the set and assign functions allow us to do, so they are custom functions. I won't spend too much time looking at them, but what they allow you to do, you can use the set function to pass in a parameter dynamically. So let's see. So all of this does a bunch of fancy stuff. Basically, and I'll show you some example of the code in a little bit, but it allows you to pass in a local variable into any given script, but you choose what the name of that variable is rather than having to define that variable in the script. So we use this in almost every layout, almost every script that Harmonic does. And it's, well, when I open up a new system that doesn't have the set and assign functions in it, I almost don't know what to do. Because it's, so one of the ways that they're really useful is, so we've got control scripts. So for instance, you would have a layout that is more complicated than this layout. But you could have all of the scripts that do anything on a layout in one script, and you would just have them in a series of if statements. So for example, so you could have a chunk of if this local variable has been set, then perform this chunk of the code, and then it doesn't do anything else. So you can segment the code, so that helps clean up the script workspace, which is nice. But one of the as really good uses of the set and assign functions is this script that we call the button action script. So the point of the button action script is to help avoid the creation of all of these 2- and 3-step scripts throughout your system. And so I threw this together. So in the button actions script, we've got if statements for all sorts of things. So if you want a new window, resize a window, set a field, go to a layout, all of these different things that you can do dynamically within FileMaker. So what that allows you to do is just pass in the parameters that you need. So hey, go to this object, refresh the page, go to this portal row, and commit, or whatever you need to do, and combine those in any way that you need them for the specific scenario without having to create 20, 30, 40, 50 different really short scripts in your system. So I want to give a brief demo of what that looks like. So first one, so we just have a popover. If you just use the single step close popover like that, you can see the popover is, the button itself is still highlighted, which is not necessarily nice. So what we'll do is come in here. I've already assigned this to the button actions. So we'll just pass in that parameter. And now you can click it and it just closed the popover for us and committed the record. So another one, if we wanted to go to a layout and an object. So briefly I'll show you where that's going. So I have 2 tables in this layout, alpha and beta, and 2 layouts called alpha and beta. So say I want to go to this layout and this web viewer. So it's a second panel inside of a tab panel. So I can come back here and pass in go to layout, and the name of the layout was beta, and the name of the object is slider 2. So we can click that, and hey, that just did it for us, all with the same script. Now what's also really helpful in this button action script is it loops through. So you can see what I just did in the code that I just wrote. I made my GTO, my go to object variable, a second repetition. So the set and assign functions take care of those repetitions. So then you can loop through and do things in a certain order. So let's see what exactly we can do with that. So say we wanted to set a field, commit, and then go to an object. Okay, so currently that does nothing. So set field, and we'll say the name of the field. It's alpha name equals Claris. And then we want to commit. And then let's go into that popover. So currently there's nothing there. I click that button, and now I've set the name of that field, committed it, and gone to this popover. Again, all with the same script, just by passing in different parameters. Now, the extreme example of what you can do with a button action script is not recommended that you do this, but it's possible. So this button that says, let's see what we can do. So I want to show you the parameters that I'm passing in there. So I'm going to pass in all of this, right? So I'll walk through what this is trying to do, what it actually does do. So we want to open a new window, and then name the window a specific something, open that window in a specific layout, and then define the height, width of the window and its left and top and left locations on the screen. Then we want to go to an object on that layout, set a field, commit that record, and then we're taking that value that we just set into that field, compiling it into some HTML, then going to the web viewer, setting the web viewer. By the way, we're going to that web viewer with animation, so we'll see the slider panel move. Setting that web viewer with that HTML that we just put together, and then running an evaluation and getting the bounds of that web viewer, and then sending me an email with the bounds of that web viewer. Now, why you would ever want to email yourself the bounds of a web viewer, I don't know. But just this is an example of all the different ways you can combine things, all with the same script. So to demonstrate, so I'll point out, so this field is blank. There's nothing in that web viewer, right? So I'm not pulling any tricks, right? And there is, so there's nothing in my email inbox, okay?
Whoa.
Yeah, well, I actually just moved them right for now, so they're there. I just moved them. Okay, so if we click this button, so I notice the name of my layout, or the name of the window is set. I can see I've set that city value. There's the HTML, and there are the bounds of that web viewer. And all of that happened just through passing in parameters with the same script. So that's in short, the set and assign functions and why we love them. So yes, if we've thought about doing it in JSON. And so previously, before I came to Harmonic, I had done some of that passing in parameters through JSON. But what's nice about the set and assign functions is there is no JSON parsing or anything like that you have to do, even though, yes, FileMaker has those native functions. But again, you could accomplish the same, very similar thing using the native JSON functions if you wanted to. But then you have to get into making sure that the JSON that you're passing in is formatted correctly as JSON, rather than just saying, here's a string, do the right thing with it. So.
And the same thing with passing the variables you're passing now. If they have a carry return or something in there, they've thrown you off also. So
yeah, that does get a little creative there. Yeah.
I'm ignorant. The set versus set variable, because typically I do what you do with set variable. That pound set, is that a custom function y'all did, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
set variable.
Yeah, so then usually the first step in any script is a set variable script step that uses the assign function. So we just do assign get script parameter. So the set function puts them in a format that the assign function can then explode out into a variable. So that way you have one set variable script step at the beginning of your script rather than however many variables that you need.
I know a lot of the signs were done as custom functions recursively. Any chance you tried the custom function with a while?
Not as of yet.
Yeah. Be fun challenge.